Well, readers of the Old Testament will recognize forms of religion that were practiced in the days of Moses that may seem quite different from worship today. Well, coming to Dalton, Georgia next week is a traveling exhibit that not only will let us see how the early church worshiped, but how its message is consistent with the church's message of today. Chester Clark, thanks for joining us all the way up from Dalton this morning. So tell me a little bit more about the Messiah's mansion that's coming to town.
Sure. Well, in the Old Testament times, God told Moses, let them build me a sanctuary so that I can dwell among them, Exodus 25:8. And he gave them very specific instructions about how it should be built, the furniture, the structure itself. And so they built it following this model. And there were also ceremonies that were involved, that throughout the year they had different festivals and ceremonies. And what's interesting as we studied those is that these ceremonies and the furniture and the structure of the sanctuary all pointed forward to Jesus and to the plan of salvation, the gospel that we know and love today. And so the Messiah's mansion is a full-scale model of that wilderness tabernacle that was built. And it travels around. They came here in this area about 5 years ago, and we had thousands of people go through it. It was a really, really neat experience. People came from all over, several states to see it, and so we just wanted the local community to know this was an opportunity.
Right, what a great opportunity, because honestly, to be able to visit the original area is a trip of a lifetime for several people.
That's right.
So number one, thank you for bringing this back to the area. And you mentioned it's a full-scale model, so tell me roughly what sizes we're talking about. Help me put this into perspective.
Yeah, well, the courtyard itself is 75 feet by 150 feet, roughly. And then the tabernacle itself is smaller inside of that. You have the holy place, the most holy place, the different articles of furniture, the candlestick and the table of showbread and the Ark of the Covenant. All these have been recreated. So it takes, by the time you have the tents that you come in and they're explained and everything else, it takes about an acre or so to recreate what was there in the wilderness. Okay,
and now are these going to be guided tours, or is someone there to answer questions, or what is this experience like?
Right, very good. These are guided tours. So they have a tour guide will take you and be with you throughout the different stations. There's 5 stations where you actually see what's going on in the sanctuary and the different articles of furniture and ceremonies and priest garments. These are explained. 5 stations, about 15 minutes each, so the tour takes about 75 or 80 minutes. And so tours start every 15 or 20 minutes. From 1 to 7 in the afternoon.
All right, and now this is starting this weekend. It's going to kick off on Saturday, and it's going to be in town for a little over a week. It's going to be June 2nd through June 10th. What made you decide to bring this back to the area?
Well, we just saw 5 years ago how many people really enjoyed it, and they were blessed to see how the Old Testament also pointed forward to Jesus and illustrates the plan of salvation, the gospel, the good news. And so we just felt like this was something worthwhile, and so we wanted to bring it back again to Dalton.
Well, thank you for bringing it back. Now, it's important to mention that this is a free event.
Free tours.
This is a free tour. You don't have to pay any admission. You don't have to pay for the tour. This is something you can bring your family out to and really enjoy.
It is. And one of the nice things about it is that it's really fun for all ages because it's so visual and all, even kids enjoy it. We have lots of Sunday school classes, youth groups, others that come out and visit and take the tour and really enjoy it.
What a great teaching opportunity as a parent, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes there's parts of the Bible that are hard to explain to children, but when you can put a picture to it or show them in person, it helps learn that lesson a little bit more.
Right.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about your experience when you first visited the exhibit. What was it like?
Well, I think for me, you know, you read about it in the Bible and you sort of have an imagination, but when you see the actual sizes, when you see as close to as realistic a recreation of it as we can have today, it just makes things come to life. I think it makes the Old Testament experience and the Israelites' experience during those days more meaningful and real to us when we see it. And most of all, I think it helps us appreciate Jesus better, because from the wood or the overlaid gold or whatever the different materials are, all of them in some ways symbolized how Jesus came and lived and died and now ministers for us. And that's really the goal, is for us to know Jesus better.
Right. These specific instructions were not accidental, were they?
No.
Okay, so again, this is going to kick off this weekend, this Saturday, June 2nd through June 10th. Tours are available from 1 to 7 p.m., starting every, 15, 20 minutes?
That's right.
All right, and it is in Dalton, Georgia. For more information, you can visit messiahsmansiondalton.com.
.com.
I was about to say .org, but .com. All right, thanks so much for joining us, Chester.
Thank you.
And thanks for bringing this back to town. We're excited to see it.
We're excited too.
All right, so get out and check it out starting this weekend. But right now, stay with us. We'll be right back on Let's Chat.